The trade deadline is fast approaching. Who should buy? Who should sell? Who should be traded? We're going to break that down for you today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start this season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Happy Victory Monday to those who are celebrating here ahead of the 2024 NFL trade deadline, which is tomorrow, 4 p.m., I believe.
Yeah,
it's
November 5th.
So,
yeah.
Knocking on the door. And that means we are on the show today looking at players who could or should get moved, who should be selling, who should be buying. Now, we are going to be doing this through the order of Tankathon, and specifically looking at each one of the teams in the current draft order. If you're not familiar with tankathon.com/NFL, it gives you the current draft order at any given point in time. And we're doing the thing. And I don't particularly enjoy the prospect of trying to get all 32 teams in here, Joe, in 32 minutes or so. But we're going to try and give it the old college try. So we're going to look, starting with the New England Patriots. There's a team that is 2-7. They're one of a billion teams in the league right now that are 2-7 or 2-6. It's actually 9. But the Patriots, should they be buying or selling ahead of the 2024 NFL trade deadline?
You got to sell, right? I mean, they've already sold Josh Uche. I think the challenge might be is what more assets do they have? Maybe Jonathan Jones is a corner that they could look to part with. I think they want to make sure that they have enough in place. Yeah, Godchow. They want to be able to function, obviously, and get a good assessment of Drake May. So I don't think you want to strip it completely down. But I mean, obviously, you're 2-7 and you're loaded with assets. Keep loading up and build around Drake May.
Hear me out. I think they could buy if they're buying a wide receiver.
Yeah, might need to, yeah.
They have been knocking on the door, trying to find somebody, a veteran receiver in the market that is interested in coming there. And they didn't have a lot of success with that this offseason. Now you've seen Drake May play. Obviously put up big numbers, had the big play at the end of the game to force that game into overtime, looking like the potential is obviously there. They have 139 as of the current draft order. They have their own 6. They have Atlanta 6 from the Judon trade. They have their own 4, which is an early 4. They have their own 5 as well. So, you've got an extra day 2 pick at your disposal right now if the right wide receiver were to come open. So I would just throw that out there and be they should sell. Guys like Devon Godchow, sure.
Yeah.
But if you get a chance to buy a receiver, big picture might make sense.
And hopefully for them, Drake May's the way he's performing is going to inspire more players to want to go there, right? It's kind of been a challenging place to recruit free agents to go, as Matthew Judon knows.
The Jacksonville Judon struck out on the first 100 recruit efforts he had to New England. Yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 2 team. Sell. They're a team that already has extra draft capital. They have an extra 3 and an extra 4 from Minnesota in their draft queue, in addition to their own picks. But they are a team I definitely think should be selling when it's all said and done. Anybody else you like for them?
Eric Armstead should sell. They should sell him for sure if they can. Ronald Darby at safety or corner, he makes sense.
I would wonder if Devon Hamilton would have any interest too. They got a couple of guys up front. Shirt. Is anybody gonna buy on Scherf at this stage of his career?
Mitch Morse, I don't know, man. People looking for a starting offensive lineman. I think you can get one.
Yeah. So they have some good options.
Well, they had Christian Kirk. He got hurt. That would have been a good player to trade.
Mm-hmm. The New Orleans Saints. What they should do versus what they will do are two totally different things, though.
Sell. Cam
about
Jordan.
All kinds of upset that they lost to the Panthers.
Yeah, bro, you got the same record, man. You're 2-7, just like the Panthers. Like, cast off the shades you want, but come on, man. You're the same.
And you lost 7 in a row.
Right.
So, yes, I would be inclined to agree that New Orleans should sell, but based off the Alvin Kamara extension, I don't know that they will sell because that would have been a good player to set the table for you to sell. The Carolina Panthers.
Yes. Clowney, Tuttle.
Clowney feels like the one. There's a lot of teams interested in knocking on the door for pass rushers. Clowney's made a career out of bouncing around to a bunch of different places. And I think he's got an extra year on that deal still, right? So,
yeah,
you could probably get helped with the draft pick compensation knowing you have an extra year control if you wanted
it. The reality for Carolina is it's probably easier to come up with a list of players they shouldn't trade. You know what I mean? Like if somebody wants A'Shawn Robinson or Xavier Woods, I mean, come on.
Give us a competitive price for us, and off we go, right?
Yeah. Like, what about Taylor Moton? Free him? I know that offensive line trades are hard, but we kind of seen it, right? As Cleveland went to the Jaguars, Cam Robinson went to the Vikings.
What do you think Moton would fetch?
I don't know. He's kind of banged up right now, but talk about the model of consistency, regardless of what's going on around him, man.
Right, like a 2.
Oh man,
too high?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's too much.
3.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that would be my asking price if I was Carolina, though. I'd be like, dude, this is a starting tackle, and it's not a Cam Robinson starting tackle. It's like an actual good tackle.
Right.
Cleveland, also sitting at 2-7.
Zadarius Smith. Sell, baby.
Right. Now, don't give away long-term cornerstone, like best player on your roster players like Myles Garrett, unless you're going to get a crazy offer there. But this is a team that, based off how they've restructured everyone, they've paid all the cash up front. A lot of their assets are very easily acquirable because the team that's acquiring them, you're talking about a couple $100,000 in cap space to get them under the cap this year.
Right.
So
think about a lot of guys. Shelby Harris. Sell.
Elijah Moore.
If anybody wants to give anything for Elijah Moore, yeah, man, for sure.
Right. The Raiders also at 2-7, having done the thing this morning, firing their quarterbacks coach, their offensive coordinator, and somebody else. They fired 3 offensive coaches.
Stunning development there with the personnel and coaching that they had in place. Never saw this coming.
Are they a team? Who do they have any names that stand out to you as like attractive options to move?
Robert Spillane, maybe. Jacoby Myers. 2 that kind of pop.
Are you planning on retaining Trayvon Moehrig? If the answer is no, he's in a contract year.
Yeah. You know how it goes. That this GM didn't draft him, so anything can happen.
Right. Just looking over the rest of their group real quick. The Giants. Darius Slayton.
Azeez Ojulari, if you're not going to pay him, obviously, with what you already are invested in with the edge rushers there.
There's been some buzz for Ojulari the past week, too. It's another, again, that pass rush group has a lot of names.
I think a change of scenery for Evan Neal would probably be good, too.
And I think there's some teams that should
try.
Be eager to try that. What, at the risk of, in the grand scheme of offensive line contracts, I know he's higher than like a minimum player, but the talent's obviously there. I think he is probably better inside at guard doing the Eric Flowers thing. Conditional, like late day 3 pick.
Sure.
For there, if the Giants are interested in just, look, we're going to move on. It's obviously not working. We get guys banged up and you're still not going to play. Like that's a flag, right? Like you're done with them. So just move on. Let's try to get through the end of the top 10 here before the first break. Miami, the first 2 and 6 team in the draft queue, currently scheduled to pick number 8 overall. For what it's worth, I've heard they're interested in acquiring and not moving.
Oh,
talent, which is not what I would do. I would
Well-
be trying to get some of these young guys in the lineup and play.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're probably looking at some defensive line help because they've been without Zach Sealer. Calais Campbell's a popular name if you sell.
right.
And I think that could be a nice little cash out for what was like a 1-year contract. He's playing excellent football. But they need help on the defensive front right now with Sealer down and Chubb's not back and Phillips is out for the year. Like they're really banged up front. So they might be a team that gets somebody, but that would be a name for me is Calais Campbell. I don't think Javon Holland is popular of a name as he is. He's banged up. He's got a broken hand, and now he's got a knee injury. It did play against Buffalo. I don't think there'd be a hot market there for a safety in a contract year like that.
What about if they were to sell? Would Fuller be somebody to part with?
Man, if you told me Kader Kohu was going to come back from whatever neck issue he was to keep Cam Smith on the field, like that's a player you kind of need to figure out what you have. So I'd be all for that. And Kohu hasn't played the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fuller's been solid. He's definitely lost a step from what he was a few years ago. And I think that shows up from time to time, but he has another year on his contract. It's a 2-year, $50 million contract. So
yeah,
that'd be a competitive rate for whoever was acquiring him for next year too. Like you wouldn't be mad about having that on the books. So it's not a bad name to invoke. And if I'm Miami, like I'd be interested in getting Cam Smith on the field and let him play.
Yeah, for sure. Needs reps.
Tennessee, man, they lost.
No.
They lost Cushenberry to an Achilles yesterday.
Sucks.
That's
good player.
Because that's like it's late enough where it's like, man, you might miss some time at the start of next year too.
Right. Sebastian Joseph Day, Arden Key, send them. And Condre Diggs, he got hurt yesterday, so he would have been a good target, but he's hurt. So
it's funny, all these teams that like you probably should have just been in the Quandre Diggs and Calais Campbell markets in the summertime anyway.
Insane.
You weren't.
Right.
And now like you might be interested in giving an asset to get that player in when you could have had him for very reasonable rates in July, but that's none of our business. Let's go to break and then we'll talk about the Jets next.
All right, folks, stick with us. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn a rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. I personally love that PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks now offers Venmo as well for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game.
New York Jets, a half a game in front of the 2 teams we just talked about that we felt should be selling. Maybe won't sell, but should be selling. They've obviously already bought with Devontae Adams. There's some talk about maybe like DJ Reed if they were going to move a piece away, but they did the thing and won on Thursday and have had the extra 3 days of hopium before the deadline.
I like that.
I don't think they're like, I don't. Aaron Rodgers been the salesman like Al Michaels talking about on the broadcast, right? He's like, you start believing him. He's talking about if we just do this and this.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think they're going to sell.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They should. And so if the objective is to say what they should do, they should sell.
Who should they sell?
Mike Williams. They should sell. Boy, I don't know, man. Hassan Reddick, it's tough. It's not that good of a football team. Like, they need defensive line help. They're 3-6, but the 3-6 year.
So they should buy defensive line help.
They should not. They should come to grips with what they are as a football team, but they won't.
Can we also draw the line in the sand about like what buying and selling means? Like, some people think buying, they think big. Like, some buying, I think that's okay, is like, okay, is it a conditional like late day 3 draft pick 2 years from now type of buy? Like the Chiefs buying Josh Uche type of buy. Like, that's still buying, but it's much more palpable than we're giving a day 2 pick for a player.
Yeah, we're not asking you to go everything, but yeah, get yourself a piece. But that's the thing with the Jets. Maybe they're just so far committed to what they are. And at 3-6, man, like, the 7 seed is the Broncos at 5-4. Now the Broncos have the hot tiebreaker over the Jets, and that's probably going to matter. But you're probably feeling like you can maybe get there, right? I mean, Chargers at 5-3. It's not like impossible. 3-6 is exactly where the Packers and the Rams were last year, if I'm not mistaken. The Bucs were 4-7.
Yeah.
I mean, AFC kind of feels a little bit like that.
Dallas Cowboys.
In the words of Dak.
Sell. What's that?
You see the Dak side? Well, the clip. I'm not allowed. We're not allowed to swear on the show. So
yeah. Dak's not too thrilled about where they're at right now, and rightfully so. They're in rough shape, but I don't know. Like, anybody interested in Eric Kendricks for a few pennies? Like, you got Overshown, who's starting to play for you, and obviously Damon Clark.
Carl Lawson had 2 sacks yesterday. Anybody could have had him a million times this offseason if you wanted to for a bag of balls, but nobody did it.
Dallas, are you going to be serious about re-signing Oso Odigizua? If you're not, go that route. I know you're banged up on the defensive front, but it's got a contract year, so you always have to ask the question. What are you doing with Zach Martin?
Boy, what? Come on, you can't do it, can you? Hall of Fame guard, been there since 2014. Somebody
could give you one of those picks that we just got done saying like would be like a big puzzle piece to move.
Ah, man,
is there a buyer that needs offensive line help that badly?
Boy, that'd be tough. It'd be tough. It'd be a tough one to let go. They should think about it though.
Yeah, it's an expiring contract for sure. But they should not be buying. I think we agree.
No.
Indianapolis 4-5. Now we're into kind of the ambiguous zone here, floating around 500 teams.
Can they get a corner?
I think that's, if we're going to flip the switch here and say this is where you start looking for teams to buy, I think that's the obvious place for Indy. They obviously have their quarterback situation they're working through, but they have skilled players. They have a good offensive line. I know it's a little banged up in the interior.
Their offensive performance last night's hard to reconcile with their, decision to go with Flacco, right?
Yes, which is I think probably why this would be a team I would not look to give future assets and be like, we got bigger problems than bringing somebody else. Like, we need to figure out what we're doing offensively.
Problem is they're 4-5 in a game out of 7 seed.
Right.
The other problem is that they host the Bills this week.
Right. Well, I mean, this was the whole thought process was Flacco gives you the chance to win, right? So I think that tells you where the mentality's at.
Bro, Bills, Jets, Lions are next 3.
I'm aware.
Yeah, but then then they play all the 2-7 teams. Every one of them, I'm pretty sure. After that, Patriots, Broncos, not Broncos, Titans, Giants, Jaguars. They probably think they got a chance to go on a run. Maybe just wait, just don't do anything.
Yes, I think you gotta just let this thing ride itself out, and then ask yourself some more big picture questions. Cincinnati at 4-5. Buy
defensive line, man. Get yourself some defensive line help. That's out there. You can get defensive linemen. Go get it.
I think I saw a stat that the Bengals have only acquired 2 players in 50 plus years, like as an in-season trade.
When we say that the Bengals do business differently, this is what we're talking about. They have no scouting system.
It's an insane statistic.
They don't trade. Come on, man.
52 years, 2 players acquired in season.
Right. Cannot relate. Unfathomable.
And guys, you're a game out of playoff spot.
Yeah, and you got Joe Burrow, right? Yeah, go do it, right? Nobody, if they get into playoffs as a wild card, I promise you, nobody's going to want to play the Bengals as a wild card team. I promise you.
You got all your picks. Take a 3 or a 4 or a 5.
What did Trey Hendrickson have 4 sacks yesterday? I'm pretty sure. Come on,
he's
man.
Killing him.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Do nothing.
Yeah, it's year one. It's year one of your system.
Right.
You should feel no added pressure.
Right.
I think the only awkward thing really is you have Geno Smith kind of, he's not your traditional quarterback that you've tethered yourself to. You don't have as long of a runway for him as you do with younger quarterbacks because of how he's bounced around the league. You got to go at San Francisco, Arizona, at Jets, at Arizona, Green Bay, Minnesota, at Rams. These are all games that you still have to play.
Right, they're in trouble.
Yeah, you just got to ride it out.
Can you trade for a new offensive coordinator? I'm out on Ryan Grubb, man.
Dude, what the heck was that in overtime yesterday?
Brother, I cannot reconcile this man. I cannot reconcile it.
The Rams at 4-4.
Do nothing.
Do nothing because you have all these young players that the chemistry is really popping right now.
Right. Yeah, do nothing.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a wide receiver.
Well, it seems like all the reports are that they're not going to trade for anything. But I think wide receiver or defense, right? They got massive. They should get some help on defense. They should help go get a pass rusher, maybe a linebacker.
Is that going to help? Is that? I don't know, man. That feels like it's such a mess. I feel like the easier thing to do would be to get a wide receiver to try and score more points than fix all of the issues that have popped up. And you have a defensive-minded head coach. I have a hard time with that one because we knew we had the questions, right? We had questions with the other corner spot for them. They traded Carlton Davis in the offseason. We had questions with the pass rush room because they keep hacking away there, and they haven't gotten anything in 3 years of just hacking away, trying to invest in picks.
And vets. It's not working.
And vets.
I mean, could you just give up a 6 for Robert Spillane or something and see if that could be a better running mate for Levante David? I mean, something like that.
I think they should buy. They're a half game behind Arizona. They should.
We both agree they should buy. It's just I'm thinking more defense. You're thinking more wide receiver.
I mean, yeah,
they play the Chiefs tonight.
And Evans is out probably until the bye, which is another couple weeks.
Maybe they should get both.
You need some wide receiver. Well, yeah, go ahead, make some waves. All right, let's go to break. Then we'll come back, and things should go pretty fast off the back half because it's a lot of competitive teams, and it's just a matter of what they should be looking for.
Stick with us. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it wisely to improve yourself? Our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, Introduction to Free Market Economics, the Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and a whole lot more. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced so that you can start whenever and tune in wherever. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just enjoy the lectures. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. Hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today to join. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Sorry. I was over-eager with my button.
Wouldn't apologize for anything.
Button producer. The audio listeners have no idea.
No, so that's good. That's good, yeah.
But the video listeners know. San Francisco, 4-4. Banged up at wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey trending like he may be back sooner rather than later. What do we think here? They're a team with an awkward salary cap outlook. They obviously have a ton of carryover cap potential at their disposal, but they got to figure out Brock Purdy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would do anything if I'm San Francisco.
I would look at interior defensive line. That's what I would do. If you can get a reasonable interior defensive lineman, go do it.
And you just got to hope you get healthy. I think that's a bigger thing for them, getting as healthy as you can as compared to making a big external splash at the expense of more draft capital. Although their early draft capital, they really haven't consistently done a lot with. They've had a bunch of incredible day 3 picks, but so that kind of puts you in a weird limbo too. Chicago losing 2 in a row, dropping to 4-4.
Do nothing.
Yeah, they're a frustrating football team.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go in Arizona and beat them, and they had no pulse on offense. So
the roof was open. They have a roof, and they left the roof open for the weather. So that was fun. But I don't know. I feel like Ryan Poles probably should feel pretty good about his job security, but I don't know about Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much into this if I were them.
And I think that's one of those ones where, from an executive perspective, we're coming off of Tampa with Todd and Jason Light, and San Francisco with Shanahan and Lynch. Like, those guys are tied together pretty good, right?
Dude,
I don't say the same thing about Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus as being like tied at the hip. And now you got a first overall pick at quarterback who you might want to make a change and get a more appealing option in there. So I don't know. Like, you obviously are trying to win all your games, but I think there's less of a universal effort to feel urgency.
Man, if you're Chicago as well at 4-4, 4-4,
4-4.
4-4.
That southern accent's getting pulled out of there.
Right. I went down the deep south there. Minnesota 6-2, Eagles 6-2, Packers 6-3. That's the 5, 6, and 7 seeds in the AFC. You're not in that caliber. You're not there. You're not. And then you got the 49ers below you.
Arizona.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's not. Come on. I know that they probably don't look at that, but I'm telling you, I'd be stunned if they bump any of those teams out of their playoff spots.
Well, the good news is they got New England this week.
Okay.
Then they're Green Bay, Minnesota, at Detroit, at San Francisco, at Minnesota, home versus Detroit.
Goodbye, Chicago. Goodbye. Thanks for everything this year.
Let's not buy. We're not looking at the second half schedule and like, we can put it together here.
Nope.
Denver.
Do nothing.
Probably. I mean, your next two are at Kansas City and Atlanta. They have Kansas City twice. You have to go to the Chargers, to the Bengals. You just got smoked by Baltimore. I think that's your hard to swallow.
Talk about a bad draw on the road after they had that goofy loss to Cleveland.
Right.
You knew there was going to be a bloodbath.
I'd probably stand pat if I was Denver. You're building a program there. You have the quarterback in place. Right. I'd stand pat. Arizona. Buy some.
You got to feel like you can win the West if you're Arizona, right? They have nothing on defense.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Like, no good players.
Well, they're all young. They're young players on defense.
Get something for the defense, man.
You can go linebacker. You can go defensive tackle.
Anything.
You can go pass rusher.
Sure.
You can go corner.
There's nothing.
You can go with a safety.
Right.
Go buy something. Go ahead.
Right.
Go crazy. Right. You've been pooling all these draft picks for the last 3 years. Now, you don't have any extra draft picks as of right now. So that'll probably kill Monty to do, but I would go for it. Chargers. Shout out Quentin Johnson. 60-plus yard touchdown catches.
Yeah. If anything, I guess you could maybe a little bit of interior defensive line. I wouldn't be adverse to it.
Taxes for that football team, right?
Right. It's been a long time situation there. Go trade for Dalvin Tomlinson.
Be a fun ad.
Yeah.
For them. The Falcons. Here they're thinking maybe more pass rush help.
Boy, keep trying. Keep trying. Go get Zadarius Smith or Arden Key or something, man.
What is with the NFC South and just hacking away at pass rushes and not being able to?
It's been a 10-year problem, man. It's been 10 years. It's insane. We had John Abraham and Julius Peppers in here, and Jason Pierre-Paul, and that was it. And they all eventually retired.
I think you are definitely at the point in the order, though, where Atlanta's the first 6-3 football team that we've mentioned. If there's the right intersection of available talent, like all these teams should be considering buying for the right price. It's just where the match is going to happen. But for Atlanta, pass rush feels like it's the spot where there's the most interest. Green Bay?
Probably do nothing team to me.
I wouldn't be mad if they got a corner.
Sure.
The corner opposite Jair, I know, has been a kind of a sore spot for that football team, but they're playing. Each one of their games that they've lost, they've been games that they've really shot themselves in the foot.
Right.
So I don't think they should feel a ton of urgency to do something crazy.
Right.
They got at Chicago, home versus San Francisco, home versus Miami. That's on a short week. At Detroit, at Seattle, next 5.
Yeah, I think a corner would make sense.
The Ravens.
What do they need?
They need some defensive help. I don't know how much of it you can really point to and like, man, personnel's a really big issue here. But they are metrically are awful against the pass.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of it is how multiple they are with personnel in their back. Like they're switching guys around so much, and so like I think that causes some challenges.
So are you advocating for a simplification?
Yes.
As compared to personnel, another new piece? Because I think that makes some sense.
Yes. Just get static with your back 7.
Houston.
Boy, man, their offensive line stinks, doesn't it?
Well, now they got a first-round draft pick that's down for the year with a shoulder injury.
I hope he gets well, but he's been terrible this year. I mean,
I know he hasn't been good to begin with, but like less bodies is not good when you're already limited.
Right.
They're one of the most. CJ Stroud's faced like one of the highest pressures, like by volume of any quarterback in the league.
Right.
And I know some of that's how he plays too.
Correct.
And it's kind of the same thing that they had when Watson was there and Russell Wilson's like that, where those guys at times invite pressure to create big plays. So again, it's not all on the offensive line, but like, geez Louise, man. That's tough.
Yeah, we kind of talked about some guards that could be out there. Like if I'm Houston, I'm calling about them, and they've made trades for offensive linemen, so it's within their wheelhouse.
Philadelphia, first 6-2 team.
I kind of like where Philly's heading, man. Like I think Cooper DeJean in the slot's been nice. Their defense has kind of come together in general.
Being surprised.
I know it took them Vic. I know you probably have some Vic shade.
Well, no, there's no shade at Vic at all because the defense is playing well. It's more so Cooper DeJean falling the way that he is. I had him as like a top 15 player in a class last year.
Yeah, I wasn't. That wasn't
Mitchell. Both those guys fell. Right. They gobbled them both up.
Right. Nakobe Dean's pick yesterday was sick, right? Unbelievable to win the game.
Yeah.
I might stand pat, man. But I mean,
not mess with the chemistry of it. Because the defense really feels like it's coming together with Vic. And then like offensively, you have so many pieces and you're gonna get a little bit healthier on the offensive line.
Right. I don't feel a lot of urgency to do much here if I'm Philly.
Pittsburgh, 6-2.
Get a receiver, man.
Yeah.
This is the Mike Williams team. This is the Mike Williams team, right? It's got to be. YOLO balls.
Yeah.
Calvin Austin's coming alive in the slot a little bit here.
It's a good fit. How about they got at Washington, home versus Baltimore, short week against Cleveland, at Cincinnati, next 4 games.
Yeah, all their division games hit, and then don't they have Kansas City later on too?
They have Kansas City on Christmas Day, and they have to go to Philly in early December.
A very difficult schedule.
Go get another piece. Give yourself a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah,
feel good about your chance to win 10 games and be a wild card team, but like if you're going to make noise and make it count, go ahead. Yeah. Minnesota. Couple more teams. We got 5 more teams.
Man, I kind of feel like their interior offensive line is just upgradable if they can find it. I'm not sure what else they could realistically go get.
And they did that last year at the deadline with who'd they trade for?
I know they sent off Ezra Cleveland.
Oh, they sold Ezra Cleveland. That's right. They sold
I'd like to have him, maybe.
Call Jacksonville up.
Yeah, you guys done with him? Yeah, I'd
Um,
maybe get a guard if I could.
that feels like the right spot for them. Washington.
I mean, I feel like their defensive personnel is certainly upgradable. I feel like their offensive line is certainly upgradable. I think they can use another receiver. That's the thing about Washington. They're 7-2, man. And I don't know that their talent's that good collectively. I think they're well coached. Their quarterback's coming alive. Like, they're making big plays. Like, I think they're a good team. I think their talent can use a lot of upgrades. It's just a matter of how much you want to put into this. Don't accelerate your build too much, but if you can get a couple pieces that can help you, I wouldn't be adverse to it.
I think the thing to remember for them too, they have an extra 3 from the Miami trade for Jalen Wright. Miami gave their organic 3 to get a 4 for Jalen Wright. So they have their own 1, their own 2, and 2 3s right now. So they have got a little extra wiggle room from draft capital perspective, which I know is a problem for Minnesota. As the other team that we just talked about, they have their own 1. They're projected for a comp 3 for the Kirk Cousins departure. I think that's what that one's from. And then they don't have another pick until they have the Browns' 5th round pick. So they're pretty dire for assets.
We will.
I have no idea what this is.
A coach has been fired in the NFL, a head coach.
Doug.
Nope.
Mike McCarthy.
No. Nope.
Who is it?
Dennis Allen. Goodbye. Thanks for everything.
Do we need to say anything?
No.
We did that. I'm going to try really hard to keep it a family-friendly program because I know that's like an obligation that we have here on the show. Joe, we've done coach rankings for the last 2 years. We've done head coaching rankings as a part of like our offseason like power rankings for the rosters. Has Dennis Allen ranked higher than 30th in either of the last 2 years?
Nope.
You knew exactly what this was.
Right.
You extended Alvin Kamara with a multi-year contract extension to guarantee more runway and box yourself into a corner more to turn around and fire Dennis Allen after losing to the Panthers? Mickey Loomis, you dirty dog.
He's got to go too, man. He's got to go too.
He's not going to.
Got to go.
He's got the owner in his back pocket here.
Right, and he's
the one selling the sweet nothings. It's okay. Keep writing checks. It's fine. We'll get out of it. No, it's Dennis' fault. It's not my fault. I do what you got to do, right? It's a self-preservation game. But this is some Game of Thrones type stuff, right? It is really nasty.
If Mickey survives, if he survives this.
If Mickey Loomis survives, this is some little finger nonsense going on.
Right. No, yeah, it's a good call.
Dirty stuff.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills.
Oh, bye. Get yourself some defensive line help, please, God.
Oh, and what's his name? Kid from Duke.
Dwayne Carter?
Yeah, he's good.
He got a wrist injury. He's out for the...
Who is that big fella, number 51 or whatever?
Ilianku, man. Practice squad defensive tackle.
He's a big guy.
I know.
I saw him out there like, that's not built like any other dude they got on the front.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
He's a fine rotational player, but like, come on, man. I mean, it's...
You want interior help? You want exterior help?
Yes, I'll take it all. Yeah.
Take all of it?
Yeah.
Keep mocking the Bills' defensive linemen in your mock
Please,
draft,
God.
everybody.
Thank you.
The Detroit Lions.
Get edge rusher. Come on. When is this going to happen, dude?
Get your pass rusher. Be done with it. Rock and roll. Go win the Super Bowl. I think that team's winning the Super Bowl.
I think they're probably going to win the NFC. Yeah.
They are an awesome football team. From a team building perspective, man.
Yeah. I love everything.
Watch, they'll lose in Houston this week because I said that.
Boy, I'd be stunned. Sunday Night Football.
They should smoke them in the trenches.
They should.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
They've already bought. They bought Uche and Hopkins. What else would you like them to go get? Some more?
Yeah, just some more. They have Tennessee's 3 from the L'Jarius Sneed. So they got 2 3s still.
Just go when you're. Come on. Just not Kansas City in the AFC this year.
Everybody just let's all 31 of the teams make a pact to not do what the Bills always do and help them, right?
You're so stupid. No, the Bills aren't in on that for sure. They'll do trades. Yeah. Worthy's been awesome, man. Awesome.
That's going to do it for us here on the show. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He is Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys. Check out Locked on NFL Scouting. Come back and see us tomorrow as we react to whatever else we get along the way. Deadline spur action here in the NFL, and we got one coming tomorrow. We'll break down whatever we get between now and then.